The war is over. Voldemort is dead. The great hall of Hogwarts smells of ash and copper, and Harry Potter stands at the center of it all, 17 years old, hollow-eyed, still holding the Elder Wand. They cheer for him. Of course they do. But Harry doesn't drop the wand. Not immediately. He tells himself it's because he hasn't decided yet whether to repair his own Holly Wand, whether to bury the Elder Wand as Dumbledore intended. He tells himself he's just tired, and that much, at least, is true. He is so terribly, irreparably tired. The Ministry of Magic is in ruins. Pious thickness has been removed, the Death Eater bureaucracy dismantled overnight, and now there is a vacuum, a yawning, dangerous absence of structure where law and authority used to be. The Wizengamot convenes in emergency session. They need someone people trust. They need someone unambiguous. They need Harry Potter. He says no. 3 times he says no. Then Hermione shows him the numbers. 14 Death Eater trials collapsed for lack of witnesses. 6 suspected collaborators already bribed their way to freedom. 32 Muggle-born families still in hiding, afraid to come home because no one has told them it's safe yet. Someone has to, she says, not as an argument, but as a fact. Harry takes the interim seat on the Wizengamot. He is good at it, which surprises everyone, including himself. He has Hermione's legal precision, Ron's instinct for what ordinary people need, and something neither of them has, a reputation so large it bends rooms. When Harry Potter walks into a chamber, people stop talking. When he speaks, they listen. He doesn't yet understand what a dangerous gift this is. The first conflict is small. A Death Eater named Thaddeus Mulciber, not a general, not a torturer on record, just a man who processed paperwork at the Muggle-born Registration Commission, argues through his solicitor that he was following orders under the Imperious Curse. The evidence is thin. The Wizengamot is inclined toward leniency. Harry stands up. He does not shout. He simply describes in careful detail what happened to Neville Longbottom's parents, what happened to Dean Thomas's family, what happened to every person whose name moved through Mulciber's desk. He names them, all 31 of them. The chamber is perfectly silent by the time he finishes. Mulciber is sentenced to 12 years in Azkaban. Outside the chamber, Ginny squeezes Harry's hand. "That was brave," she says. "It was necessary," he says. She notices he doesn't use the same word. 2 years pass, then 5, then 8. Harry Potter is not Dark Lord. That word implies theatrics, masks and titles, and a need to be feared. Harry has never wanted to be feared. He wants things to work. He wants the Ministry to stop being corruptible, the Wizengamot to stop being purchasable, Azkaban to stop producing people more broken than when they entered. These are reasonable goals. Hermione agrees with all of them. Ron agrees with most of them. The disagreements begin at the edges. When Harry proposes mandatory registration of all adult wizards practicing magic above a level 4 threshold, Ron says it feels like the old regime. Harry points out that it is nothing like the old regime because it applies equally to everyone, including purebloods. Ron says that isn't the part that worries him. When Harry signs the surveillance charter, permitting Auror monitoring of communications through enchanted objects in cases of suspected dark magic, Hermione drafts a 17-page objection and delivers it in person. Harry reads every page. He thanks her. He signs the charter anyway. The incident at Hogsmeade, he explains, 4 dead, including a child, justifies the measure. The charter is temporary. He says this with complete sincerity. The charter is renewed 3 consecutive years. The Elder Wand is still in his possession. He never quite got around to burying it. Every time he thinks about it, something urgent intervenes. It is during the Thornwall incident that people first start using the phrase, the sovereign. Not to his face, never to his face, but in papers and pamphlets and in careful whispers at the Hog's Head. A faction of magical separatists had barricaded themselves in an enchanted compound in the Scottish Highlands, refusing to register. Harry sent aurors. The aurors met resistance. Harry came himself, Elder Wand in hand, and the compound's enchantments, 50 years of layered protective magic, unraveled in 40 minutes. No one inside was killed. He is at pains to point this point known. 3 of them lost their memories during the extraction. They cannot testify about what happened inside the compound. The inquiry concludes the memory loss was an unfortunate side effect of the collapsing enchantments. Harry does not comment on the inquiry's conclusion. Ginny leaves that autumn. Not dramatically. There is no fight, no ultimatum, no scene. She simply packs a bag one morning while Harry is at the ministry and is gone by dinner. She leaves a letter. He reads it once, folds it carefully, and puts it away. He does not read it again. She writes that she still loves him. She writes that she doesn't recognize him. She writes that she is frightened, not of what he might do to her, but of what he is becoming comfortable doing to others and of how little it seems to cost him. He promotes Hermione to deputy head of magical law enforcement the following week. She accepts. She tells herself she can moderate him from the inside. She tells herself this for 4 more years. It is Ron who finally says it aloud. They are in Harry's office, not the cluttered ministry cubicle of the early years, but the high-paneled chamber with the view over London, the one that was refurnished after the 3rd expansion of executive authority. The Elder Wand lies on the desk between them. It always lies on the desk now. "You know what the difference is," Ron says, "between you and Voldemort?" Harry looks up. "He wanted people to be afraid of him," Ron says. "You genuinely believe you're helping." The silence lasts a long time. "I am helping," Harry says. "I know you think that." Ron's voice doesn't crack. He has been preparing this for months. "I thought that too for years. I kept telling myself the thing you just did isn't as bad as the thing before it. But Harry, I watched you erase Mulciber's granddaughter's memory last week. She was 9. She'd seen something she shouldn't, and you just..." He stops, starts again. "She'll never know she had a grandfather. He'll watch her at Christmas not knowing him, and she won't know why she doesn't know him, and you signed the order and came home for dinner." Harry says nothing. "Dumbledore was afraid of the Elder Wand. He was afraid of himself with it. I always thought that was weakness. I think now it was the only sane thing about him." He puts a small object on the desk, Harry's first wand, or rather, the repaired Holly and Phoenix wand that Ollivander painstakingly reconstructed from the fragments which Ron had retrieved from Harry's desk drawer 3 years ago when Harry stopped carrying it. Ron had kept it, not knowing why exactly, and now he does. "I'm not going to stop you," Ron says. "I don't have the power to stop you, and I know that. I'm just telling you what I see." He leaves. Harry sits alone with 2 wands on the desk for a very long time. The window shows London at dusk, the magical quarter glowing faintly, the Muggle city beyond it humming with oblivious millions. 20 million people who have no idea that the man in this room can rewrite their morning with a word, who never chose him, never knew to choose or not choose him, never had the option. He picks up the Holly wand. It fits his hand with a warmth the Elder Wand never quite manages. Not more powerful, not more obedient, but his. A wand that chose a frightened 11-year-old, that bent when Voldemort tried to break it, that has phoenix feather from Fawkes at its heart. And Fawkes, Harry remembers suddenly, absurdly, always left before things got too bad, always came back afterwards. Harry Potter sits in the most powerful seat in the British magical world and understands for the first time in years that he has been afraid of being powerless for so long that he forgot to notice when powerlessness stopped being his problem. He carries the Elder Wand to Dumbledore's tomb at dawn. He doesn't break it. He doesn't bury it. He leaves it in Dumbledore's hand where it began and walks back up to the castle and stands at the edge of the lake and watches the giant squid move slowly beneath the surface, unbothered, doing exactly what it has always done. The reforms he signs over the next 6 months are smaller, slower, and significantly less efficient than the ones before them. They require compromise, they require argument. Several of them fail entirely in committee. Hermione, reviewing the new surveillance charter amendments, finds that they are, to her bewilderment, actually good. She reads them a second time, a third. She calls Ron. "He's trying," she says. "I know," Ron says. There is a long pause. "I just keep wondering if the 9-year-old girl is going to be okay." "She won't remember anything's missing," Hermione says. "That's the worst part," Ron says. The line goes quiet. Outside, London continues. The magical world continues. Harry Potter, not the Dark Lord, not quite, never quite, but close enough that the mirror finally worked, continues too, older now and uncertain, and trying to learn again what it means to do something because it is right, rather than because he alone has decided it must be done.